Good evening. Welcome to the Alonzo Says Show. I am Alonzo, your host, and the conversation of the day is recognizing real fathers on Father's Day. I want to start off by saying Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there and all the fathers who's not with us now. Give a prayer up for them. And when I say fathers, I don't mean daddies. I mean fathers. Fathers are men who's there, who take care of their responsibilities. No matter what obstacles is put in your way, you make a way to take care of your kids. I'm not saying Happy Father's Day to daddies, people who are there just making babies and moving on to the next one, or they decide to, now I'm too young to be a father, or I don't want to be strapped down, and all these different excuses to prevent from them being a father. Because guess what? That child did not ask to come in this world. You and that woman decide to sit down and have unprotected sex. And if you're going to do that, unless you can prove that this is not your child, you need to take care of your responsibilities. I agree 100%. It's not the government's responsibility to take care of some man's child when he's not taking care of it. Now, that guy has passed away, or he's incarcerated, or he's been put in some kind of financial bind, or this woman needs to have financial help. I understand that. But you still try to make a way to make sure you take care of your child. I'm sick of these baby daddies. And I don't care what color you are, because there are just as many white women on welfare as there is black women, because a fatherless father has no face on it. You have some well-to-do fathers who don't even acknowledge or take care of their kids, but they had sex with that woman, and then you're a poor excuse for a man. Life can be tough for me, but you can rest assured, when I had my kids, I made a promise to them. Each one of them that was born, I made a promise to them that I'd do everything within the life of my body to take care of my kids. And I don't apologize that for anyone. I'd rather walk right out there with a junker and take care of my kids, take every penny I got and take care of my kids, than have a brand new car out there and knowing that across town or in my house that my kids are wanting because I've decided to put my priorities in the wrong place. It's about taking responsibilities. As a father, I sit down with my daughters and my son, and I have real conversations with them, and teaching my young ladies that to know their worth when they're dealing with men. Because you have a lot of young ladies out there who wind up being with the wrong men or sleeping around because they're looking for love, and they think sex is a tool of love, as long as that guy's they're giving it to him and he's saying, I love you. I tell my girls every day I love them. Every day I love them. So that way when they get out there and they meet a man, he say I love you, they can easily tell him, well, yeah, I know that. I hear you talking. My father tell me I love me. What else do you have to offer me? If all they have to offer them is sex, then you're in a losing proposition as well. And a lot of women think that having babies with men is going to keep them, or sex given it to them is going to keep them. It's not. You got to be more smarter than that. I teach my son, I don't care what you're doing out there, because you're a grown man. I can't tell you what to do. You're a grown man. But if you have kids, take care of your kids. If you know you can't take care of kids, don't have them. As simple as that. You can't sit there and decide I'm going to turn on the mother that I chose to sleep with her without any protection on. Now, don't get me wrong now. I'm going to be totally honest with you. There are some wicked women out there who will make it hard for men who trying to see their child. And unfortunately, sometimes when they go to court, the court system fails them. And I tell you, brother, I don't care what color you are. I'm with you, and you have to just continue that journey, that fight to see your kids. You keep paying your support, and keep your paperwork, and keep your paper trail. And then at some point, you keep on pushing this narrative, and you got your paperwork to prove it. Something's going to change in your direction. Now, I hate it when you have daddies, as I call them, who they won't be a father to their kids, but when their baby's mother get with another guy, and then he's trying to become a father figure, now all of a sudden they want to be a father now. You can't pick and choose. Either you're going to be in that child's life or you ain't. Don't use it when it's your excuse, because you have baby mothers and baby mothers out there. You're just as seedy, where they'll sit there and use that child as a pawn to get more money, or to get them to act a certain way, or to get back at them because they're in a relationship with another woman, and that child becomes a weapon of choice. And they're being disingenuous, trying to keep the father from the child, or doing all kinds of unsavory things. So we all have to invest together. Thank God that I have a woman that I've had kids with, that no matter how much we disagree with each other, no matter how much we might have a difference on a certain situation, those kids come first. We put our differences aside when it comes to those kids and their education and the things they need, and the pattern in the life that we have an expectancy of them, and taking care of them together as a team. When you get a mother like that, you can't beat it anywhere. But when you get that father, I take that back, a daddy and a baby mama, not a mother, who's sitting there constantly fighting over kids because it's some other outside agenda, then those are people who I wish did not have kids, because you're not qualified to have those kids. Now, for me, the rewards of being a father is you get to watch your kids grow and almost take your face and see them blossom into something perspective, and they're doing something good with their life, and then you hope to see them doing it with their kids, and you're able to hone and craft them into being better citizens inside of themselves, and with the hope that they're not doing devious things or grow up to be evil and self-centered, so those are beautiful rewards. And that, I don't care how much I had a hard day at work, I come home and hear them saying, "Hey, daddy," and they're screaming for daddy. There's no other feeling in the world like it. The littlest thing that they do sometimes with drawing you pictures, that's more than any present that you can buy. It just has a value that supersedes any material thing that I could ever receive. And I've been blessed with my kids on that end. The pitfalls of being a father is you can get with the wrong woman, and it can be hell for years on end when they don't have that child's need in mind, and then they're taking it on themselves to make it harder for you to connect with your kids. That can be a big pitfall with being a father. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to say, and I mean this to the bottom of my heart. I want to quit hearing people say, women in particular, and men who agree with that you hear women saying, "Well, I was his mother and his father." No, you are not. No, you can't be. You cannot be. You can always try to teach him how to be a gentleman. You can always teach him how to be a gentleman, but you can't teach him how to be a man. Only another man can teach a young man how to be a man, because there are certain areas as a woman that you'll never be able to touch as a man, that the young man is going to understand from one man to another one. It's just like a woman. I have 2 daughters. I can never be their mother. I can teach them how to be young ladies, but I can't teach them how to be a woman. Only another woman can teach a young lady how to be a woman. You can never be his father. You can always be a mother who tried to teach him how to be a man, but you can't teach him how to be one. So I totally disagree with that statement. And here's another thing that I want to touch on that I've been reading about. You have people who sitting, I read this guy was judging these 2 guys, this gay couple who was raising a young man. and then there was another who raised a young lady. And this guy was just like, well, I don't think that it should be two men taking care of a child, or two women taking care of a boy, because that confuses them. Oh, wait a minute. All the other stuff out here in society ain't confusing them, with the racism and the sexism and the division and all these other different drugs and sex and violence on TV. None of that has an impact, but yet no, you're going to hone in on something like that. I'd rather have a child in a stable home with a gay couple who's going to take care of that child and give him the love that he needs, than a baby's daddy who's not taking care of his kid, who's absent in his life. You know, people can be ignorant. It's sheer ignorance when you rather see a child in a situation where they have an absent father and a mother who's bad taken care of, because it fits your narrative or makes you comfortable. But I don't want to see them in an environment where these parents who might be gay are taking care of him and loving him and teaching him the right and wrongs of the world. And my message to you is to get over yourself. You know, I'm at a point now in my life is I can care less about what somebody think or somebody assume about me. At the end of the day, my principles aren't for sale. If that means it costs my friendship with you or my family ship with you, then I'm good with that. I can stick with that and have no issue with it, because I know a lot of it is based on sheer ignorance and nothing more. So I support adoption when it comes to kids, even if it is a gay family. You know why? Because they're going to learn more in that situation where they can have a real, true conversation. The problem is people don't want to have true and hard conversations. They want to try to shield them from it. I don't want to see, they had this big thing, I don't want to see these two men kissing on TV, but these same people have no problem with seeing two women kissing. You can't have it both ways. It's a conflict of interest. Either you're for it or you're against it, but not when it's in your best interest or it fits your narrative. Now, these same people who sit down don't want to see two men kissing, but they don't have no problem with seeing a man with a knee on his neck dying right before our eyes, or someone being attacked, or violence, or scant-clad women when young men are at these football games on TV or at live sporting events. What it is someone who's just basically being a hypocrite. That's just a fact of the matter. Simple as that. You know, mothers, I think it's important that if you and your baby's father is not getting along, I think that it's your responsibility he needs to know who his father is. Even if your relationship, now, if this father ain't taking care of his child, I get it. I understand that. He should have no right to be able to see his kids but not want to take care of them. I agree with that. But for those mothers who, I'm angry with him and I'm not going to let him see his kids, that's not fair. Because that child has a right to know their father. Or these women who have babies by other men and then tell this father he's his father, and they know he's not the father. And now I'm not going to tell him because that's not fair. No, what's not fair is that what you did, that child has a right to know who their real father is. Because it's not fair for that person to go through life not knowing that they have a real father walking around. Even if that means that it pains you and it hurts you, they have a right to know who their father is, and it's not your right. It's selfish of you for you to do it. And for the fathers walking around who can sit there and walk past their kids or drive past their kids or know they having kids sometimes in the same city or area, you are less of a man to sit there and knowing you have kids and not taking care of or trying to get to know them, because it hurts. It hurts those kids. Especially, it's even worse for a young lady. For a young man, if he don't have that father figure, he could go out there and start attaching to gang members or acting out or doing all kind of other things. Or he pick up where his father left off, having babies all over the place and not taken care of. That young lady takes it even harder because now she don't have that relationship with her father. And so I don't care how hard the mother is on her, another man come along and try to come in her life, and it could be the worst guy that she could ever meet. But because he said, I love you, it almost like this maternal instinct, he can lead her into situations that she'll regret for the rest of her life, all because she didn't have that relationship with her father and she's seeking that out. There's a lot of young ladies who's doing things that they probably wouldn't be doing if they had that relationship with their father. They had that makeup. It don't have to always be no two-parent family. That's a lying narrative. If you have both your mother and father in their life, and they can be in two different houses, you can be just as strong as a two-parent family. So I don't buy that lie, okay? You know, what it is, I just think the recognition that fathers should have, those one, because you have some fathers who get less recognition than absent fathers. You ever have it to where you see on Mother's Day that they go all out with flowers, candy, and all kind of situations for Mother's Day, vacation. But with fathers, you can have it to where they get, it's a comfort level where he don't want anything. You know, I'm gonna give him tools. I'm gonna buy him a grill, but he's gonna grill for us. You know, you should start taking the time to take care of the father. Show him the same level. You know, you see professional players who call their mama out, and some that call their father out, but more mothers. Now, sure, there are some mothers who's single mothers who wind up taking care of the child. So, and that's rightfully so. But then there's also fathers who just don't get that recognition. You know, with mothers, they want to thank them and tell them what great job they did. But with a father, the narrative is, well, that's what he's supposed to do. He's the father. It should be even. Both should be given the same credit, the same stage. That's just a fact of the matter. And as I stated before, for those fathers out there, I salute you. I don't care what color you are. If you out there taking care of your kids and you grinding to take care of your kids, you're number one father in my book. But if you daddies, because you're not a father, or baby makers, then I don't have respect for you. If you're not taking care of your child and you can, or you're half doing it, or you taking care of somebody else's child but not your own child, there's a character flaw there if you're doing that. It's a character flaw for a man. Any man who know he has kids and don't take care of them, there's a character flaw there. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse whatsoever. If you can't get the money, you find a way to get it to take care of your child. I know I do. Every day I get up and I lay down, my kids come first, then me later. You know why? Because I made a decision when I laid down with another female to have those kids. And if you can't understand that, you're not a real father. I enjoyed this conversation. Please, on my website at www.alonzosays.com, that's AOSALONZOSEYZ, with your feedback and comments, and I'll respond back to those on a later show as well as on my website and on my YouTube show. You know, this is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be going through a whole lot of different conversations, and I'm going to be heating a lot of people, and I'm good with that. And it's going to be some people who are going to agree with me. I look forward to having all kinds of people who's going to join this journey with me. On behalf of everyone here at the Alonzo Says Show, may every American gain prosperity at God's speed. Thank you, God bless, and good night.